Hello, good afternoon. Happy Friday to anybody who might be watching this. We wanted to open up this conversation. Graham, you and I were having a private conversation about just the sheer number of attacks that we are seeing right now. Mostly phishing attempts. I think phishing attempts are up 350% in the last 6 weeks. We've also seen from recent reports that one successful phishing attempt can cost a business up to $183,000 to remediate. And in this current economic climate, I mean, that could just put somebody right under. So let's role play for a second. Say I'm a business owner. What can I do to prevent these attacks?
Yeah, so Brandon, that's a great question. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of security options on the market to what we would normally call harden a tenant or a website or a firewall. But most importantly, I think it's where your data lives online with people being outside the office. For us, we are a true blue Microsoft partner, so we're all in with Office 365. And Office 365 has a lot to offer, from Teams to SharePoint, and keeping all that data in one spot. So you really, you kind of have that single point of entry if someone compromises a username and password. So, what we'd like to see with people that have their information in the cloud, first and foremost, is multi-factor authentication. Sometimes that can be tricky if a company doesn't own a device, because most times authentication is going to come from cell phone. So we took a step back and we said, at a minimum, what can we do to just help and get something that is not intrusive, that doesn't require a second device? And so thanks for putting up the document here. We developed a product that works with Office 365, low cost to set up. And the first thing is just monitoring suspicious logins. So I just talked about turning on MFA. If you can't do that, at least have a tool in place that says, hey, Brendan, I know you're in the upstate of South Carolina and someone is rapidly trying to log in from Idaho. That doesn't look right. You're not in Idaho right now. So, that typically leads to the discussion of, well, should we turn on MFA? And then also, chances are you probably had what we consider a weak password. So maybe it's all lowercase, or the family dog's name, or your favorite football team. And so knowing, okay, well, if they have that password, they probably have it somewhere else, which leads into our dark web monitoring. Again, we're just going to keep pretending you're the business owner here. So right, wrong, or indifferent, your employees are probably going to sign on to other accounts using their work account. We see that quite often. And if they're using Go Tigers 123 as their password for their work account, and then, or vice versa for the Craigslist account, it's probably the same as the work account. So we have a way to monitor the dark web and give you a report of who has what password. Now, it doesn't show the entire password, but we usually get about at least the first half of it. So again, if you see GOTIG, you probably know what the rest is going to be on that.
Yeah, and why would my employees' passwords and login information be on the dark web? What is that information used for people who aren't familiar with what the dark web might include?
So it's pretty scary, because it's, you always hear the term pennies on a dollar, but that's really what usernames and passwords go for sale for. So just as you and I work for PTG, and it's a reputable business where we're trying to protect people and increase their productivity, the bad guys run real businesses doing bad things. So, they have people employed using tools that their job is to just sit there and try to crack passwords. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but I'd heard one time that a password tool can do something over like 2 million attempts within a 24-hour period. So that's 2 million different variations. I mean, it's incredible, right?
Yeah.
And as, again, like I said, if people have their Outlook pulled up all day, and if they're signed into those accounts to get those alerts to go check to see, who's posting what or who's talking about what. They're probably using the same password across multiple logins.
And then this phishing testing, what is that?
So again, just thinking around this offering as a lighter version. We have a more in-depth phishing and email security training platform, but for this, bad guys are sending emails now with bad links, bad attachments, requests for people to go buy gift cards or just to click somewhere, right? So we wanted to offer up a way that once a quarter, we can send out an email to your company and provide you, Brendan, as the business owner, the results to say, Jay clicked here or he entered in some kind of credentials here. So that way you can go back to Jay and say, hey, this was a test. Thank goodness it was just a test. Here's how in the future, you can hover above the link and see where it goes or hit reply. And it doesn't go back to Brendan. It goes back to some weird return address, and just being able to inform your employees how to take a look at those things.
Right, because as you and I were saying, most hackers still need some sort of employee error in order to get the access to breach an account, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it doesn't take much, and we're all human, and we all, we all want stuff done as fast as possible. We want to get back to people as fast as possible, especially working from home, and just putting that in place to help educate people is what we're trying to do.
And I think the key here too is, we're sensitive to the fact that a lot of businesses right now are trying to cut costs, but so we made this very affordable, this program, and with the goal in mind that we know you're trying to cut back, but not the area to cut back, just because hackers see this as such a golden opportunity to potentially do something that will be very costly for your business, way more costly than the cost of preventing it.
Correct. At a minimum with this, and I think the gold nugget of the three we have in there is the suspicious logins. Just knowing that someone is trying, because what we see is they'll get in to an account and they're going to sit. They're not going to do anything immediately. They're probably going to, sometimes they sit up to 6 months, but once they're in, they're going to start moving across the organization. And so if we can, do our best to say, hey, someone's knocking at the door, we can decide if we're going to let them in or not.
Great. And if if a business owner wants to know how to get started with something like cloud security, what should they do?
Absolutely. Would love to have that conversation. They can ping me through LinkedIn, and we can help them take a look. We offer Office 365 security audits for their tenant if they're not a current PTG customer. And also, where we are now, sometimes we just want to help. So if you're not a PTG customer through the Office 365 side and you just want some general questions to go ask your IT provider or your cloud solution provider through Office 365, don't hesitate to reach out.
Excellent. Thanks, Graham. And you have a good Easter.
You too. Have a good, happy Friday.
Bye-bye, everyone.